2 days. Well, what do you know?
It is a beautiful Wednesday here in Southern California. I couldn't be happier. Week 2 of the preseason starts tomorrow. There's all kinds of phenomenal content to consume about the NFL right now, and it was a great morning. Reading that GQ article about Jalen Ramsey. Did you read that?
Yeah,
amazing. That was as good as I ever could have hoped. I'm going to talk about that today. I'll go. You want me to go first?
You just knock it out.
Okay, so Ramsey sits down with GQ. The guy is an absolute star. He was so phenomenally entertaining in that interview, and his takes on quarterbacks and just general like team construction were so solid that I mean, it was like, he knows, but he would know better how to put together a team than somebody like Dave Gettleman of the Giants. He was so on point. I really don't like Gettleman. Yeah, he was so on point with his evaluations of quarterbacks across the league. It was truly remarkable. He threw probably the most. What got the most run was the shady throw on Josh Allen. But kind of lost in the mix for some takes that I absolutely loved. He was, giving huge credit to our guy, Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod. He gave him credit for, being able to protect the football and how important that is as you're playing quarterback in the NFL. He was basically like, if everybody was so high on Baker Mayfield, why in the hell was Lamar Jackson the 32nd overall pick if those are the type of offenses you're going to run? Like, Lamar Jackson did, very well in college. So he thinks Lamar Jackson's going to be a great player. That's a take that you and I both have been very on board with from the time of pre-draft through the draft through today. So I thought that was great. A couple other points that I wanted to hit on his talking through, like he showed respect to Rodgers and Brady, which I think is correct. Breeze, same thing. Surprisingly threw shade at Matt Ryan. I don't think that he's ever played against Matt Ryan or the Falcons, so that was kind of weird. But maybe most interesting, I felt like, yeah, right. Who? Most interesting, the comments I thought were about Blake Bortles, and he clearly would have had some, kind of more pointed comments if Blake Bortles was the guy he was playing against on Sundays, and he wanted to kind of shake his confidence. But confidence is really what I want to dial down on here. And it seems to me, at least, like a lot of the Jaguars' decision making, a lot of their, kind of offseason process and kind of how they handled losing the AFC Championship game was kind of born out of keeping Bortles confident about his progression as a quarterback. And I don't know, if I got the feeling that if the Jags had lost that first playoff game to the Bills, Bortles would have been gone. And there's nobody would have been defending him. But because he managed to be on the winning side that day and then showed what he could do against the Steelers, and then in the first half against the Patriots, it's like the team really has bought into him, but it's a very fragile situation. So that's worth watching as the season goes on. If you start to see a multiple game stretch where Bortles is losing his confidence, I'm going to be pretty concerned. I'm high on the Jaguars just because of the defense overall, Jalen Ramsey especially. And I'm pretty hopeful that Bortles comes to the table and performs this year. Anything I missed about the Jalen Ramsey piece? I guess he's not in camp. That's kind of concerning.
No,
I really wish this guy was in camp.
He won't. Yeah, he won't be. Or they already made their trip. He's sitting out a week, just taking a little time out for spouting off to the media, which apparently he's been doing a little more of that than we knew. But yeah, super good article. I think you've already linked to it. It's totally worth the read. Yeah, you talk about going into preseason week 2. I put the deep dive analyst crew. We have a whole staff.
You put the interns to work. You put the interns crack a whip on.
I put the interns to work. Yeah, and kind of an episode of the deep dive that I love, and we'll keep referencing the scheduling one. We had the interns, which honestly, Whale just looked at this because he didn't have anything to do this morning, I guess. But yeah, it's the preseason's a preseason, and it's grain of salt. You still got to look at a ton of crazy different angles because it's the preseason, but there's still situational scheduling angles. The Jets and Cardinals lose a day of rest. They play from a Saturday to a Friday, so they don't get as many days. And I believe they both travel to the Saints and Skins, respectively. The Steelers and Bucks play their second straight week on the road against Green Bay and the Titans. So things you can look at a little for if you like a team one way or the other. You kind of want to double check some of this stuff. Maybe, well, you should kind of tweet this out afterwards. But then my favorite one, the Bears, who there's only two teams this would be possible with. Third straight roadie. They went, and it's not like Chicago to Ohio is a long ways, but they went from Chicago to Canton, Chicago to Cincy, and now they go up not only a third straight road game, but to altitude, playing in Denver, who I didn't think looked bad. It's just Minnesota's, even their second team defense is good. I thought between Denver looking okay against some pretty good, defensive depth in Minnesota, and the decision to move Paxton Lynch way down the chart, that might help. So I'd rather see Chad Kelly, a Mr. Irrelevant, out there than Paxton Lynch at this point. So I have already bet. Yeah, this is the only bet I've made of the second week so far, but I will be, and already am, on Denver -3 at home hosting the Bears.
I love that, man. I love that. I'm gonna tell you on that. Keep the preseason. NFL X Andy has been white freaking hot.
Stay in the flames.
Yeah, seriously. Keep this going. There's a couple other angles we should dig into and bring up tomorrow, but we'll leave it at that because the situational stuff I think is going to matter. Travel is going to be a big deal. 3 weeks in a row traveling for the Bears can't be fun. The Bears are having some other interesting issues in camp with their center can't get the snap off to Trubisky. Did you see that story this morning?
Yeah.
I hope they get that fixed, man.
And that's another. It's not like Roquan played the first 2 weeks, but it's not like Roquan's going to play now that he's back. Like, don't think that he's going to just sign his contract, walk into camp, and then play this weekend. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe defense playbook, you can grasp that quickly, but I doubt they'll throw him out there that early. I mean, it just doesn't seem like something they do. Although, on the flip side of that, I'm super excited to see him play eventually.
Yeah, same. So hopefully, hopefully we see the best of the Broncos tomorrow. Or is Broncos Bears tomorrow, or is it Friday? Saturday. Saturday. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. No, I kind of wanted to get ahead of that one a little. I could see that moving a little on the catch it at 3 before it gets on the wrong side of that, if it does indeed. So I took it at 3 at -110 today.
Now that we've talked about it, the secret's out, so it's going to start moving.
Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't take a lot to move preseason lines if somebody important hits it. So
that's true. All right, man. Let's wrap. We got
perfect. All right.
Part four, the deep dive season preview tonight. Look out for that. I put the rest of our B picks part 3 up this morning, so I'll tweet that out here pretty shortly. If you haven't already gotten that downloaded via iTunes or Google Play or wherever you find the deep dive. We talked about the AFC
college
North.
football.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you're into college football,
with Jay Creer.
Check out College Game Jay.
College Game Jay. Real good stuff. He'll have the rest of those previews out throughout the next week. So until tomorrow, Mr. Whale.
Take care, Andy.